I'm conflicted because for most of, I don't know, the months leading up to Mania, thinking about what Gunther was going to do, I just have this gut feeling that they're going to have Gunther lose. Like, I'm just mentally prepared for it because it just felt like that's in the plan. And part of that is because I feel we might see quite a few title changes at WrestleMania. Like, I believe that Cody seems like he's going to win. Drew McIntyre seems like he's going to win. You assume that the tag titles are going to change hands at WrestleMania.
So
But
there needs to be one constant.
so, well, because I think the women, and then the women's title, we think Bayley's going to win. I think the women's world championship is not clear. I don't think there's any sign that says Becky's for sure winning over Rhea and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the same can be said about Gunther, because as many people want to see, Gunther lose, I don't really feel like there's anybody that has really done anything that is like, yeah, you should be the one to dethrone the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion.
Just like, what do you do? It's what this Intercontinental title reign has evolved into. Is that it's like, who the hell can do it? So you're thinking about multi-man matches, and even the multi-man, you're like, all right, well, it's even worth it to
Well,
have them dethrone them. Where we would it be even more likely to say that the next Intercontinental Champion isn't even on the main roster yet?
because I think that people aren't putting into perspective like how much work Gunther has put into the Intercontinental title and how it's now become a title that people are excited to see defended, and there's like value put into it. So it's like you want to make sure that continues with the next person, and the idea of like, and I'm just using Gable as an example because that's how I just feel passionate about it. But it's like, if Gable was the one to win, I'm not saying it would immediately not be valuable, but it feels like the excitement for it and the value that Gunther put into it is not going to be there still, because it's like, it's not the same vibe. I don't know. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to agree,
I
but like,
do. No,
okay.
I understand completely what you're saying. I'm just
So it
trying to
just would,
more think of like who, like, there's so many names popping in my head right now of like who could do it.
yeah.
Where it keeps you as entertained with the Intercontinental title as it has for the past 621 days.
627.
My bad.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so that's the thing, is like, I would just hate for him to have put all that work in for then us to just revert to where that was before he became the champion. You know what I mean? Because then it's kind of like, what was
Mhm.
his title reign for? And as we said, people were saying, okay, well, if Gunther loses, then he needs to be immediately in the world heavyweight title picture. Okay, well, that ain't gonna happen if he loses at WrestleMania and Seth Rollins loses at WrestleMania, which we think is what's going to happen. So we're not going to see a Drew McIntyre versus Gunther match. It's just not going to work. It's like there's no one to root for because you assume that they're going to continue down this path
Mm,
with Drew McIntyre. And we know that eventually CM Punk is going to come back, and CM Punk is going to want to go after Drew, because obviously Drew is not letting go of all of these disses to CM Punk. And so if that's the case, then you're saying have Gunther lose at Mania and then have him chill out for 6-8 months, a year, because he's not going to be going after Drew McIntyre. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the second that CM Punk comes back that he's going to win the title off Drew. So he would have
mhm.
to wait until Punk comes back, Punk takes the title off Drew, they get their rematch done, and then he's looking for a new opponent. To me, that's ridiculous. You cannot have Gunther lose the Intercontinental title and then have him just like chilling in the abyss. Like, that
Yeah.
that's a ridiculous thought.